dear students. Very good morning. You know that you have formative assessment 1. So that's why I'm going to revise the syllabus for it. So first, we are going to study about our environment chapter. So this chapter is already done, and let us go with the exercises. The first question is, which of the following groups contain only biodegradable items? So in the given question, in the given options, which one is biodegradable items? Grass, flowers, leather. Second option, grass, wood, plastic. C option, fruit peels, cake and lime juice. D option, cake, wood and grass. The answers are like, so fruit peels, cake and lime juice. Second option, cake, wood and grass. So because these are easily degradable in the soil. So let us go with the second question. So question is, which of the following constitute a food chain? So first option, grass, wheat and mango, grass, goat and human, goat, cow and elephant. D option, grass, fish and goat. The right option is B option. Grass is eaten by goat and goats eaten by human. So this is the chain, like producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, like this it will go. So the right answer is B. Next, question number 3. Which of the following are environmental friendly practices? So first option, carrying a cloth bag to put purchases in while shopping. Second option, switching off unnecessary lights and fans. Third option, walking to school instead of getting your mother to drop on a scooter. So the option, all of the above. You know that all these three are environmental friendly practices. So we are following all environmental friendly practices. The answer is D, all of the above. All these three are environmental friendly practices. Next, question number 4. What will happen if we kill all the organisms in one trophic level? So you know what is meant by trophic level, right? It is a step or a level in the food chain. What happens if we kill that one level or one trophic level in the food chain? For example, let us consider whether it may be primary consumer, or whether it may be producers, or it may be decomposers. Yeah, out of these three things, if we remove one trophic level, it will definitely affect the ecosystem. Let us study, if we kill all the organisms in one trophic level, the transfer of food energy to next trophic level will be stopped. Okay, suppose if all the herbivores like primary consumers were killed, okay, primary consumers ಎಲ್ಲ kill ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ there is no food for the secondary consumers. So if we kill all the organisms in one trophic level, the transfer of food energy to the next trophic level will stop. So this will cause a break in the food chain, resulting in the ecosystem imbalance. So it will create an imbalance in the ecosystem. As a result, organisms of the higher trophic level, like as I told, if we kill all the herbivores, there is no food for the carnivorous animals. As a result, the organisms of the higher trophic levels will also die. So while the individuals of the lower trophic levels will exhibit enormous growth in their population. So both the conditions will result in a ecological upset. Whether herbivorous died or death or carnivorous death will also imbalance the ecology or ecosystem. That's why all the trophic levels are very important. Next, will the impact of removing all the organisms in one trophic level be different for different trophic levels? Can the organisms of any trophic level be removed without causing any damage to the ecosystem? Okay, here I'll read the question one more time. Will the impact of removing all the organisms in a trophic level be different for different trophic levels? Is a question. Okay, can the organisms of any trophic level be removed without causing any damage to the ecosystem? Let us study the answer. Yes, the impact of removing all the organisms in a trophic level will be different for different trophic levels. Of course, yes. If all the producers were killed, okay, consider if all the plants were killed, it will cause death or migration of the primary consumers in that ecosystem. ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ಲ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಇರುವಂತ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಪ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್ನು ಕಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ there is no food for the primary consumers in the ecosystem. In the absence of the producers, a subsequent level of consumers will also be affected. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾರು ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತಾರೋ ಅವ್ರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಬಟ್ ಇಫ್ primary consumers are removed, organisms of higher trophic level will be die, while those of the lower level producers show exponential growth much beyond the carrying capacity of the environment. So removal of the organisms in one trophic level will upset the whole ecosystem, as all categories of organisms are linked through the food chain. ನಾವು ಫುಡ್ ಚೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಒಂದು ಲೆವೆಲ್ ನಾವು ಕಿಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಅದು ಹೋಲ್ ಫುಡ್ ಚೈನ್ಗೆನೆ ಅಫೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದ ಸರ್ವೈವಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಆರ್ಗನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಒನ್ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಒನ್ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಯಾವ್ದಿರುತ್ತೋ ಮುಂಚೆ ಯಾವ್ದಿರುತ್ತೋ ಅದ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. So that's why all the trophic levels are very important. Next is, what is biological magnification? So will the levels of this biomagnification be different at different levels of the ecosystem? Yes, what is biomagnification or biological magnification? Both are same only. So will the levels of the magnification be different at different levels of the ecosystem? Means ಒಂದು ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಫುಡ್ ಚೈನ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಫುಡ್ ಚೈನ್ಗೆ is there any change in the levels of the magnification? So you know that biomagnification, nothing but it is a progressive increase in the concentration of non-biodegradable substances in a food chain, okay, or the accumulation of harmful substances in the food chain. And as the number of trophic levels are increasing, the concentration of the harmful chemical will also increases, right? And the level of these harmful substances will go on increases from one trophic level to the next trophic level. So when certain harmful substances enter the food chain, at that level the primary producers they get concentrated many times at each subsequent trophic levels. On reaching the top level, ಯಾವುದು top level ಇರುತ್ತೋ, so that in that level there is more concentration of these harmful substances. So this is about biomagnification. Next question is, what are the problems caused by the non-biodegradable waste that we generate? So non-biodegradable waste cannot be broken down into simple substances, right? So like any microorganisms cannot break down these non-biodegradable substances. Their volume keeps on increasing and create the problem of their safe disposal. Best example, you can take plastic. So plastic cannot be broken down by simple substances. So if we are using continuously, the volume will increases and it will create a problem for a safe disposal. Okay, so it will create a problem for safe disposal. Some of these non-biodegradable waste like heavy metals, pesticides, these may enter into the food chain. Like you know that biomagnification, right? So it will enter the food chain and it will increase the concentration of these harmful substances in the each trophic level. On reaching the upper trophic level, the concentration will be more. Hence, non-biodegradable wastes reduce the soil fertility by changing the natural pH balance. Okay, they will change the natural pH balance. So next question is, if all the waste we generate is biodegradable, will this have no impact on environment? Okay, the question is, suppose if the waste generated is biodegradable, will this have no impact on the environment? Biodegradable waste ಏನು ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜೇ ಕಾಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ವಾ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ಸೊ ಯು ನೋ ದಟ್ biodegradable waste are decomposed by microorganisms like fungi and bacteria. They'll break complex substances into simpler substances, right? And they'll provide raw materials for the producers. Like, so after breaking into simple substances, some of the substances will be taken up by the producers to build up their body. But they also have adverse effect on the environment. Okay, so these biodegradable substances also have some adverse effect on the environment. So first is slow decomposition of biodegradable waste. Okay, so slow decomposition. So decomposition does not take place in 1 or 2 days. It will take a lot of time. Slow decomposition of biodegradable waste will result in the release of a foul smell, a very bad smell, because of production of harmful gases by microorganisms. When these harmful gases are inhaled by the human beings, they may cause irritation, allergic, nausea or giddiness, etc. ತಲೆ ಸುತ್ತ ಬರುವಂಥದ್ದು ಅಥವಾ ವಾಮಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಸೆನ್ಸೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇರಿಟೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಲರ್ಜಿ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಲ್ ಕಾಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಬೈ decomposition of biodegradable waste. Next one is decomposing waste to provide breeding ground for some harmful organisms. Suppose if you have dumped all the biodegradable waste in one place, that is the place for microorganisms or any other substances. Microorganisms, mosquitoes, fungi, like that. So abundance of these microorganisms will cause diseases. You know that mosquitoes are the means of disease spread, alva. So these harmful microorganisms may cause diseases in plants, animals, or to human beings. Next one is increasing number of microorganisms in aquatic medium will cause oxygen deficiency in water bodies. Suppose if we dump all these biodegradable materials into water, so it will spoil the quality of water. And you know, the oxygen present in the dissolved oxygen present in the water will also become contaminated. So this is about question number 8. Next, question number 9. So why is the damage to the ozone layer is cause for concern? What steps are being taken to limit this damage? So we know that ozone is a triatomic molecule of an oxygen. It is a protective shield around the earth. It is protecting the earth from reaching ultraviolet rays into the earth, and it prevents harmful ultraviolet radiations of the sun from reaching the earth. Some of the air pollutant like chlorofluorocarbons, CFC, which are using as a coolants in the refrigerators and air conditioners, these are causing the depletion of ozone layer. So what this is allowing a greater amount of UV radiations to reach the earth. So it makes the holes in the earth, so then the ultraviolets can easily reach the earth. So UV radiations can upset the ecosystem by affecting photosynthesis in plants. So plants ಅಲ್ಲಿ photosynthesis ನ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಲೀಫ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಬೀಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ it will damage photosynthesis. Next one is it can destroy planktons. Planktons are small plants present in the water, and also even decomposes. In human beings, UV radiations may cause skin cancers, cataract of eyes, and damage to immune system. So these are the problems of UV radiations. And several developed as well as developing nations of the whole world have agreed to sign on obey directions of TINEP. Okay, so it is United Nations of Environmental Program. So to freeze the production of CFCs or to limit their production to some extent. It means, so we have to use CFC refrigerators. It is a decision come to by in all the countries over the world.